Alrighty, so I'm making my way through Genesis at the moment. I've just got through chapter, I think it's 22, the one where Abraham offers up Isaac as an offering, as a burnt offering for God. So just to recap, this is probably the third time I've read Genesis. I read it once years ago, and I read it last year, about 6 months before I was saved. And now that the great reveal's happening, I've gone back and started again. I've read the whole of the New Testament. I've done that in the last couple of months, and I've gone back to Genesis just to go back to the start. Probably go to Exodus, and then I think I'll skip Deuteronomy and Leviticus, and then go into the what are the prophets, the middle ones, the end ones there, that's made up of, I'm not sure. Anyway, so law. I think the ones in the middle are law and the end are prophets, I think. Anyway, so I'm just wondering at the moment whether how the new and old covenants are linked. So there's a verse there in chapter 22 of Genesis, I think it's verse 12, where Abraham sees a ram. So when God says, no, you don't have to sacrifice your son anymore, because you've obeyed my voice, Abraham looked at the bush and there was a ram in the bush. He took the ram and he made the ram the sacrifice. Was that ram Jesus? Was it? Because the old covenant, a couple of chapters before that, God was very clear to Abraham that this is the new covenant, or this is the covenant I make with you. So he clearly made the covenant with Abraham, and it's all about, I'm seeing Abraham's seed a lot. I think it's in verse 18 of 22. I will bless thee, thy seed, and among all the nations, which takes me back to the Israelites. The Israelites, are they scattered over all the nations? I just saw a news story in there where, of course, all the rescue workers are dressed in orange, aren't they? And it was all orange, and these people in the Philippines have just had a horrendous storm, and you just see all these people suffering. They're the most persecuted in the world. They're the poorest, and I just wonder whether they're the Israelites. But anyway, so he scattered. He blessed the seed, his seed, God's seed, Abraham's seed throughout all the nations. And then you've got the new covenant with Jesus on the cross. So was Jesus the ram? I don't know. One of my subscribers, Forza, love your comments. Thank you. Keep them coming. They're really helpful, productive. I really stew over them. Not stew. I really give them a lot of thought and energy. So thank you. You seem to be coming from the right place and seem to be quite knowledgeable on all this. So your voice is very, very welcome. So thank you. But they brought up yesterday the notion that Abraham was I forget the context of the comment, sorry, but it was the notion that Abraham was the obedient one, the obedient spirit, and he was the spirit of obedience. And I'm just sort of, where my mind is this morning is that we're in the body of Christ now. So we're under the new covenant now, because we're post Jesus. We're in the final 2,000 years, the final third of the earth. So we're under that new covenant now. We're under the new covenant now with Jesus. So we all are in the body of Christ, and the way of my understanding of that, the way all that works is that we all bring our own personality, our own attributes, and we form this one body, which is the body of Christ. And all of us within it, the remnant, could be the 144,000, 12 tribes, I don't know. But we make up that body of Christ under the new covenant. Now, under the old covenant, was Abraham sort of the spirit of this? Was Noah the spirit of that? Was David the spirit of this? Because it seems to be Isaac, Jacob, Abraham, Noah, David for mine. They seem to be the seed, I think. That's the gist of it I'm getting. So did they make up their spirits? Did they make up the old covenant? I don't know. But as I say yesterday, I'm just so glad these are my questions now. My question sort of 2 years ago is why am I here? What's my purpose? Why is the world so evil? Why do I have to go to work every day and just pay tax my whole life and then just die? All these were my questions. Who can I see a better psychiatrist? I was asking that at one point. Because I thought I was mad. So I'm glad these are all my questions now. If you think I'm a little bit misguided here and you've got good intent, I invite you to leave a comment on it. Comment on this video, that'd be great. If you're here for no good, if you're here just to cause trouble, if you're here to get me further away, or get me away from God, to hinder my journey with Christ, you can bugger off. I'll spot you a mile off. I think one of the ways God has definitely moulded me over my journey, all of those hard years, the first 44 years of my life, is that he's shown me, he's given me those eyes even way before I was awake, where I can just see crap coming a mile off. So if you're going to do that, I've just got no time for you. So yeah, that's sort of where I'm at this morning. So again, I invite you to participate, comment, let me know how I'm going, but that's where I'm at.